Hi everybody. The subject of this video is caregiving. There's no easy way to say goodbye. And this is for all of those family caregivers who during this holiday season, or really any time of year, are either remembering someone that you've lost, or missing someone simply because they're out of your life, or missing memories that you no longer have. Now, if you are a caregiver and you haven't lost someone yet, eventually, all of us will have this experience. And if we haven't, the idea of losing friends and family is a time factor. The longer we live, the more people we are likely to see pass in and pass out of our lives. I'm Pamela D Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. On there, a lot of hope, help, and support for caregivers and aging adults. Please press the share button. Press the like button down there. Share this video with other people that you know who are looking for hope, help, and support. The holidays, and it could be Christmas, New Year, Easter, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, any holiday. It's a time of year when we tend to think about our family. I tend to think about my sister and my brother and my parents and my grandparents and everybody that I've lost in my life, everybody who's passed away. But instead of focusing on what I feel like I have lost, I do my best to think of positive memories and experiences and what I learned from each of these people, what I take away that has made me who I am today and that helps me give that quality back to other people. So if there's any blessing in losing someone, that could be a potential blessing. In this video, I'm going to offer tips for how to find support, talk realistically with loved ones if you are faced with losing a loved one over a holiday or really any time of year. And really the difficult part of what happens when time to say goodbye gets very, very close. So if you are a caregiver and your loved one is very sick right now, and you're concerned about your loved one's end of life or dying, if you haven't investigated hospice services, it's time. Ask your doctor to make a referral to a hospice agency so that you have support and your loved one receives the care they need to pass away comfortably at home or wherever they are. And this support is significant. I can't speak highly enough about good hospice support at the end of life. How do you talk about this with loved ones? Well, you make sure that you understand your loved one's end-of-life wishes. What do they want when they're dying? Most people don't want to die alone and they want to be out of pain, right? But then there's all these other things that unfortunately need to be put in writing. A will, a living will, medical power of attorney, financial power of attorney, if these don't already exist. It's kind of like the technical legal part about end-of-life wishes. The next thing, and this is a hard one, is don't pretend that your loved one isn't sick or that they're not dying or that dying is not going to happen. You can ask them questions and they may or may not be willing to talk about this depending on where they are with reconciliation about their life and how they've lived and end of life and what they want for everybody. You can just simply say, do you want to talk about what you're going through? Is there anything that you need? How can I best support what you're going through? And realize the situation is probably as stressful on them as it is on you, especially if they're worrying about how you're going to take care of themselves after you're gone. Maybe plans just were not made or put in place. It's important to be able to express your feelings, even if you have to maybe write it on paper or record it separately because you're so emotional. There's ways to do this. And I know it's really hard to imagine what life will be like when this person is gone. And you may be thinking, oh, life is going to be just horrible. I don't know how I'm going to go on. But believe it or not, caregivers are so strong. And caregivers say, you know, my loved one is dying, but oh my gosh, I've been through this for 10 years and these are all the hardships I've been through. Well, as a caregiver, you kind of have your answer because there's so much that you've already survived and you've done it. You've worked through it. You've worked through the hardships, the good times, the bad times. You will find a way to reconcile and grieve and work through losing a loved one, and you will go on. The most important thing is to make memories today with people so that you have things to remember when they're gone. And for you, create joy in all your relationships, create value and love so that when you're gone, other people have memories that they will carry with them. So let's go into the really difficult part of, people say, well, Pamela, how do I know if a loved one's dying? What do I expect? Hospice workers can provide a lot of support in this area, and these are things that you should ask. But obvious things, toward the end of life, people just become physically weak, and they usually stay in bed most of the time, and they sleep. And they don't want to eat or drink anymore. Eventually, they do become non-responsive. So they're still living, but they're sleeping, and they may not open their eyes, and they may not talk. But that doesn't mean that they can't hear you or feel you touch them or have your presence be felt with them in that room. I believe that they can. Other things that hospice will tell you is that, their blood pressure may be up and down, their heart rate's going to be up and down, their respirations will decrease. And while hospice workers can offer some kind of a timeline, there's never truly any timeline about when someone is going to pass away, which is why it's important to tell people how you feel, make sure that everything is in place, find support from the hospice workers, find support from the chaplain. So if we think of life as passing on wisdom and experiences and love and positive memories to other people for the next generation, while this can give us some comfort, it really doesn't give us comfort at the moment that we're losing someone. But after that, our life most likely is going to go on without them. We have to find ways to find peace and joy and love and continue on with our life and pass along the joy and the blessings that we've received from people who have passed on in our life to the next generation. I'm Pamela D Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. Please go there, share this with other caregivers you know who are looking for hope, help, and support. Thanks for being here. I'll see you all again soon in another video.